Mitral valve prolapse. Mitral valve prolapse is a common cause of heart murmur. It's a leaky heart valve, and most of the patients, it's 80%. It's common, and once the patient is not developing any symptoms, so there is no need of worrying because it's not a serious. And only thing we have to monitor. You know that mitral valve is located between the left atrium and the left ventricle. You can see that thing. It's between the left atrium and left ventricle. Definition that mitral valve flaps, also called as MVP, it's in which the two valve flaps of the mitral valve don't close smoothly or evenly. Only thing what will happen, it will be bulging, or we will call it as prolapse. We can see that normal closure and the prolapse of the mitral valve. That is the second diagram. You can see that is the prolapse, or we will say it's commonly as bulge upward into the left atrium. And mitral valve prolapse is also known as Klick-Momer syndrome and Barlow syndrome or floppy valve syndrome. So there are various names we will be giving for mitral valve prolapse. It's a Klick-Momer syndrome or Barlow syndrome or floppy valve syndrome. And the causes of mitral valve, it's idiopathic. The cause is unknown, and the decreased collagen 3 production and any thoracic skeletal abnormalities and myxomatous degeneration of the mitral valve leaflets and chordae tendineae. Myxomatous degeneration is a connective tissue disorder, and it is mainly caused due to defect in the mechanical integrity. So myxomatous degeneration is a connective tissue disorder. And the connective tissue disease, and any connective tissue disease, it may lead to mitral valve collapse. Coming to the risk factors, that is age above 50 years, any family history of mitral valve collapse, and the grave disease, it's one of the thyroid gland problem, and certain connective tissue disorders such as Marfan syndrome or scoliosis, that is a skeletal problem, and even the patient has any type of muscular dystrophy. And the signs, at the time of auscultation, there will be a cause of crisp mid-systolic click. The subvalve apparatus abruptly tightens. So that is the best we will be hearing by having the diaphragm of the stethoscope. When we are keeping the left apex of the heart, we can hear the mid-systolic click. That is the main sign of mitral valve collapse. Symptoms. Chest pain is the most frequent symptom in the people. Those are symptoms, and fluttering or rapid heartbeat, that is commonly we will be calling it as palpitation, and even the person may be feeling shortness of breath at the time of exertion, any strenuous activities or after doing exercise, and they may be feeling dizziness and feeling of fainting, that is called as syncope, and even panic and anxiety, or numbness or tingling in the hands and feet. And even anxiety, hyperventilation, that is the saturation will be above that the patient's oxygen percentage will be above 100%, that the patient will be having a decreased carbon dioxide and increased PO2 level, and exercise intolerance and dizziness. Coming to the pathophysiology. So here the myxomatous degeneration from collagen dissolution will be causing excess mucopolysaccharides in the middle spongiosa layer of the mitral valve leaflets. The myxomatous degeneration is nothing but it's a connective tissue disorder caused due to defect in the mechanical integrity. And this collagen dissolution will be affecting that inorganic salts, that is collagen fibers degenerated, and this will be causes that excess mucopolysaccharides in the middle spongiosa layer in the mitral valve leaflets. So that is mucopolysaccharides is a long chains of sugar molecules, and mainly we can find throughout the body, and mostly it will be present in the mucus and fluid around the joints. And this middle spangiosa, that is the middle spangiosa, it's placed in between the fibrous and ventriculosis. This will be finding between the fibrous and ventriculosis, and what it is causing, it will be stretching the leaflets and the chordate tendinae. So as a result, it will be causing the mitral valve collapse. And the doctor may hear a click or murmur during routine physical examination, and the click is created by structured flaps against each other at the time of contraction. And why there is a murmur is occurring is blood leaking back. Due to the collapse of the leaflets, all the blood is leaking back. As a result, we will be hearing the murmur. That is one of the sign of mitral valve collapse. And other diagnostic measures, electrocardiogram. So the electrical activity of the heart, mainly that we can assess find out the abnormal rhythms, and even there is a heart muscle damage can be monitored by having an ECG and chest X-ray. Chest X-ray, mainly we can see the lungs, whether there is any pulmonary congestion or the heart is enlarged. Cardiomegaly, everything can be assessed by having a chest X-ray. Transthoracic echocardiogram. Transthoracic echocardiogram is a non-invasive test, and here we will be using the sound waves to evaluate the heart chambers and walls. And how we will be evaluating means the echo sounds. It will be creating an echo sounds, and the image will be monitored with the help of the transducer, and it is one of the most useful diagnostic tests to rule out mitral valve collapse. Stress test. Stress test is also, we will call it as treadmill or either exercise ECG, and it can be done while walking on a treadmill to monitor the heart during exercise or breathing. And here what we will be doing, we will be make the person to walk on the treadmill, and we will be monitoring the patient pulse rate, respiration and the blood pressure. And the next is the cardiac catheterization. So it's an invasive procedure. Here we will be puncturing the brachial or radial artery, and we will be inserting a catheter, and through that we will be pushing a dye, and it will be visualizing the narrowing or blockage in the arteries, and even we can monitor the pressure readings of each chambers. Cardiac MRI. This is an imaging test that takes detailed pictures of the heart, and mainly we can assess the heart walls or the heart muscles in case we are planning for surgery, but we can have an MRI before surgery. How is mitral valve collapse treated? First, medications. Medications can treat mitral valve collapse related heart rhythm. That is, it doesn't mean that we can treat the mitral valve collapse by medication. Only thing we can demonize the signs and symptoms, or we can treat the complications, that is mainly the heart rhythm abnormalities. And the drug of choice, that is beta blocker, the drug of choice is metoprolol, or these drugs help prevent irregular heartbeat by making the heartbeat more slowly with less force. And only thing is, when we are giving the beta blocker, we have to check the heart rate of the patient. If the patient's heart rate is above 60 only, we are supposed to administer beta blocker. In case if you are finding that the heart rate is less than 60, never administer beta blocker, because it will be causing again bradycardia. Then water pills, that's called as loop diuretics, that is to drain fluid from the lungs. Already I said that the person will be having, due to the backflow of blood, due to the result of the prolapse valve, there will be a pulmonary congestion that can be treated by having a loop diuretic. The drug of choice, tab Lasix 40 mg, or injection, we can give injection Lasix 20 mg. Next is the heart rhythm medications. To maintain the normal rhythm, we will be giving tab amiodarone 150 mg slow IV we can give, and the patient should be monitored continuously in the cardiac monitor. Then aspirin. Aspirin we can give, it's an antiplatelet. The patient can have mitral valve prolapse and the history of stroke. We can give aspirin to reduce the risk of blood clots. And the blood thinners, if the patient have an atrial fibrillation or a history of heart failure, we can give blood thinners. The drug of choice, warfarin, heparin, apixaban, apixaban, endoxaban, and only thing in case that the patient is receiving continuous the blood thinners, but we have to monitor the PT-INR level. Coming to the surgical management. So in mitral valve collapse, when the left ventricle contracts on both the flaps of the mitral valve, that is, we will be calling it as bulge into the left atrium. This can be prevented by forming a tight seal. Here you can see there is a mitral valve prolapse. The valve prolapse in between the left atrium and left ventricle. So the surgery of the mitral valve is done only when the valve is abnormal and the blood is flowing back into the atrium. And what is the goal of the surgery means to improve symptoms and reduce the heart failure, because most of the patients with a higher degree of the mitral valve may go for heart failure. To prevent the patient from heart failure, we can plan for the surgical management, and the main thing here we have to consider the timing of the surgery is very important. And in case if you are doing the surgery too early, the leaking valve, sometimes what will happen after a long sometime that the leaking valve will be working well, and the patient may be put to at a needless risk from surgery. And in case if it's done too late, heart damage may have already occurred that can't be fixed. Traditionally, mitral valve repair and replacement are done by making an incision, that is the small cut in the breastbone and exposing the heart. And this is a small but a growing number of heart surgeons are used another approach even, that is the more smaller cuts through the side of the chest wall. This results in less cutting, reduced blood loss, and a shorter hospital stay. So nowadays when we are comparing with the previous, that the incision at the breastbone, most of them heart surgeons are offering only the side approach, the side of the chest wall, because it's lessen the hospital stay of the patient and it also reduces the blood loss. Coming to the valve replacement. The mechanical valves are man-made and can last a lifetime, and people who have mechanical valve must take blood thinning medicines that should be continuously. We should strictly insist the patient to take the blood thinning medications. Biological valves are taken from house or pigs or made from human tissue, and most of the biological valves no need to take blood thinning, no need to have blood thinning medicines of the rest of the life, because the major drawback of biological valve is that they weaken and often only last about 10 years. And after surgery, the patient usually stay in the intensive care unit in the hospital for 2 to 3 days. And overall, most people spend about 1 to 2 weeks in the hospital, and the complete recovery takes a few weeks to several months, depending on the health before surgery. Coming to the nursing diagnosis. Anxiety related to fear of heart disease and implications for lifestyle. And second, powerlessness related to unpredictability of symptoms. Third, risk of infection, that is endocarditis related to altered valve function. Expected outcomes, verbalize an understanding of mitral valve collapse and its management, and we should discuss ways to decrease or relieve mitral valve collapse symptoms, and acknowledge the risk for endocarditis and identify precautions to prevent it. Coming to the planning and implementation. So here we should always consult the doctor, that is cardiologist, for continuing monitoring and follow-up, and we should follow up in the OPD and teach about mitral valve collapse, including heart valve, anatomy and physiology, and common manifestation and treatment. And we should also discuss symptoms of progressive mitral regurgitation and the need to report these to the cardiologist. Thank you.